Hello and welcome to KAI's Q1 result conference call. We have with us today Mr. Anil Gupta, Chairman and Managing Director, and Mr. Rajiv Gupta, Executive Director from KAI. I now hand over the call to the management for their brief opening remarks. Will be followed with a Q&A session. Thank you and over to Mr. Gupta.
Yeah. So good afternoon. Good afternoon to everybody. I'm Anil Gupta, Chairman and Managing Director of KAI. So I'll give a brief summary of the Q1 results. In the quarter 1 of 2020-21, the company has achieved a net sales of 745.3 crore against 1081 crore. So the sales declined by 31%. It was due to lockdown and restrictions of business activity caused due to COVID-19 pandemic during the current quarter. The factories were almost shut for 1 month for the whole of April and resumed operations in the end of April. Our EBITDA in this quarter achieved is rupees 80.87 crore against 119 crore. So the EBITDA margin over net sales in this quarter is 10.85% versus 11.02% in the same period of the previous year. Profit after tax this quarter is rupees 36.23 crore against rupees 45.81 crore in the same period of the previous year. However, the profit after tax / net sale is 4.86% versus 4.24% in the previous year. Now I'll come to the sales part. The company has achieved the institutional cable sale domestic rupees 307 crore against 403 crore last year. But the export sale is rupees 163 crore against 96 crore last year. So the total institutional sales including exports is 470 crore in the first quarter as compared to total institutional sale of 499 crore in the same period of last year. So this institutional sale is declined by 5%, mainly because of the jump in the export sales. Sales through dealer network, distribution network achieved is rupees 186 crore in the first quarter against 366 crore in the same period of the last year. So the dealer sale declined by approximately 49%, mainly due to lockdowns in the factories as well as in the major cities and metros in most of the cities. So the dealers were not open and not operational. So most of the dealers started operating after 15th of May, but the activity picked up from the first week of June. Dealer sale contribution is in the total Q1 sale is approximately 25% as compared to approximately 34% in Q1 of 1920 last financial year. In financial year 1920, contribution of dealer sale, the total active working dealer of the company as on 30th June was 1,648. In this quarter, the sales of extra high voltage cable increased to rupees 88 crore against rupees 78 crore in the same period of the previous year. So this segment has achieved growth by 12.82%. And exports sale total, including cable, stainless steel wire and EPC exports, total put together is 183 crore against 112 crore last year. So growth in this export segment is 63.39%. In this total sale, the sales to Dangote Refinery during Q1 is rupees 96 crore. The sales of EPC segment, our EPC sales other than cable is rupees 78 crore against rupees 195 crore in the previous period. Out of the total sales of EPC, the sales of extra high voltage cable EPC is 16 crore. That means the execution portion of the EHV projects is 16 crore as against rupees 34 crore in the previous year same period. It was mainly because of the lockdowns in various sites and the execution activity could not be carried out. The pending order as on 31st July 2020 is around rupees 2,951 crore, out of which the EPC domestic is 705 crore, EPC exports 389 crore, extra high voltage cable turnkey project 627 crore, cable domestic orders 1,112 crore, and pending export orders are 118 crore. The pending export order of Dangote Refinery is now only 9 crore, which will be dispatched in August, and that order is finished. The one landmark achievement in the first quarter is the company has bagged its first big order of 400 kV voltage grade of rupees 148 crore from Tamil Nadu Transmission Corporation Limited in this quarter. With the receipt of 400 kV extra high voltage cable order, the company has achieved another milestone and has placed KEI amongst few large international players in this industry to manufacture and supply cables of this level of voltage grade. It is pertinent to mention this is the highest voltage grade of cable being used internationally anywhere, used for making 400 kV underground transmission lines. Now I will touch about the capex. The ongoing capex at Silvassa in new Chinchpada plant was rupees 90-100 crore. The first phase was already operational last year, and second phase was to be operational in the first quarter of 2020-21, but now will be operational in second quarter, in this quarter which is coming in. We have spent approximately 71.5 crore on this total project till 31st July 2020. During this year, Q1, finance cost has decreased to rupees 16.79 crore as against 32.96 crore previous year same period. The percentage of financial charges on net sales has decreased in this period to 2.25% from 3.05%. The company credit rating of last year from ICRA and CARE is A for long-term rating and A1 for short-term rating. During the quarter ended March 31st, 2020, the company issued through QIP 1 crore equity shares of rupees 2 each at a premium of rupees 498. So the issue price per share was 500 rupees, amounting to rupees 500 crore. The net proceeds of QIP have been fully utilized as on June 30th, 2020, as per the objects of the QIP issue for repayment or prepayment of debts, meeting of working capital requirements and general corporate purposes. The book value per equity share of the company is rupees 172.95 as on June 30th, 2020, as against 168.34 as on March 31st, 2020. The total borrowing as on 30th June is 459 crore and cash and bank balances of rupees 110 crore. So the as against 367 crore as on borrowing as on 31st March 2020 and cash and bank balances of rupees 214 crore. However, the acceptances against letter of creditors as on 30th June is rupees 342 crore as against rupees 770 crore as on 31st March 2020. So this is the brief. The general outlook of the company is strong, and we believe that the company should be able to maintain close to 85% of the sales of pre-COVID level in the full financial year. It's a tentative guidance, but we are hopeful that considering the pending order position and our exposure in the international markets as well as domestic markets, and the way we have booked the new orders in first 4 months, we should be able to achieve and honor this guidance. Retail sale may remain at around 75% of the peak of COVID level of last year because of the lost sale in the first quarter, and also still the lockdown activities prevailing in many towns and the many cities. However, we have achieved better results from B and C class cities as compared to A class cities, where we are experiencing number of containment zones hampering the economic activity. So thank you very much for listening to me. Now I would like you to post any questions which you may have, and we'll be glad to answer. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on their touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. Reminder to the participants, anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1. The first question is from the line of Saurabh Patwa from HDFC Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Good morning, sir. Thanks for taking the question. And congratulations for posting a good set of numbers. I just wanted to have your some thoughts on the current working capital situation in terms of in absolute or in number of days or terms, and how you think it will move going forward.
So current working capital requirement, stock which was held in the March, it has reduced by approximately 200 crore rupees. But the debtors which we were having close to 1350 crore rupees, that is remaining as on 30th June 2020 is also the same level, close to 1368 crore rupees as of now. So now the institutional payments are coming because it was held up because of the lockdown. So now slowly now the old payments which were due, so now they are coming up. So we are quite hopeful that by October everything will be normalized in terms of working capital.
Okay. And so you already shared the numbers of acceptances. And so since you're saying you're expecting a 15% kind of a decline this year, what's the outlook for next year in terms of because the orders, the capex now may be slowing down. So right now orders which we'll be getting would be for the capex which is near the completion. But any thoughts on how you see the private capex going on, and which would impact your next year's order book?
See, I think that it will be better that if we give that guidance maybe after in our next conference call in October, or after the second quarter, because then we will have more clarity over how the private capex will be there. However, we see that there is a pickup in the capex from the government, and we have seen a number of tenders from transmission and distribution utilities in last 1 month. but it will be better that we give this guidance. But we are quite bullish on our exports, and we are the markets where we are operating. We are getting very good, new orders even now. So even without Dangote also, we will be able to maintain the exports at the last year level.
Just one question for me. Can you share some breakup of the order book in terms of exports and domestic or private or public sector?
See, I have already given you the breakup of orders, but I will again give you. But I don't have the data of private and government order at the moment.
No problem. That is also the data you give, the current data in terms of product profile you've already shared in the press release also. That I have. And
yeah.
Okay, no problem, sir.
But the segregation of private and government orders is not available at the moment.
No problem.
You can do it and send it to you later on.
Sure. Thanks a lot and all the best.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Lavina Quadros from Jefferies. Please go ahead.
So hi, congrats on a great set of numbers. Just two questions. So firstly, your export order book at this point in time has declined. I just wanted some thoughts on where are you seeing visibility on the order flow there. That is one. Secondly, sir, on the interest cost breakup, if you can let us know if there are any charges or bank charges, because the drop was a little bit of a surprise. So I just want to understand if there are any one-offs in it. Thanks.
See, export orders at the moment is 118 crore of the cable exports and 389 crore from the EPC exports. In this EPC exports, I think close to 100 crore will be the cable orders, the cable portion. But we have not, segregated that out of it. We are getting now good set of numbers from our export of new orders from our export markets, mainly Middle East, Australia, and Africa. These are our strong export markets, and the booking has been strong, and new orders which are coming up in every month. That is the reason we have been able to maintain good amount of exports in the first quarter, and even in the July also export has been very, very strong. So I'm sure that what guidance I am giving you, that we will not be able to increase the exports on the full year compared to last year because the Dangote was a big order. But in spite of that, we will be able to maintain the export level at the last year level.
Lavina, regarding the interest was close to 7.5 crore to 8 crore was reduced in the working capital interest, and balance 8 crore rupees reduced in terms of the LC interest and the bank charges on bank guarantees. Because the sale is low, so that's why the LC interest is low and the bank guarantee charge is low.
So breakup would you have for this quarter and last year same quarter?
You can note down the term loan interest was 1.4 crore in this quarter. Last year was 3.74 crore. And working capital interest was close to 8.5 crore rupees, which was earlier the 14 crore. And LC interest is 3.64 crore as compared to last year 7.18 crore. And bank charges on LC is 0.98 crore. Last year was 2.75 crore. And bank charges on bank guarantee is 1.67 crore. Last year 3.35 crore. And other bank charges 0.6 crore. Last year was 1.81 crore.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Charanjit Singh from DSP Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. First of all, congratulations on a good set of numbers in a very tough environment. I would like to understand, sir, more on the working capital front in terms of the receivables. How is the now payment in July, and how it is going to shape up in the future? Plus, from the debt levels perspective, what is the level of debt you would be expecting to finish this year end?
By end of the You see, as it was in the last year, by March, hopefully we will be end up with this kind of situation of debt. But as we earlier said, at the time of the QIP also, because whatever we will spend on the capex, the same will be again the debt will rise to that extent. Because our working capital will remain same. So whatever we will accrue in this financial year, we will deploy in the capital assets for next financial year. Because since this year we are not going to do much capex, only in the fourth quarter we will look how we will be doing the capex, and major capex will be only in the next financial year. So the debt level will be remaining as it was in the March 20.
Okay. And sir, in terms of the receivables collections, in July, so we were earlier hearing that even in May, June, some of the payments had started coming through. But how is the trend now in July? And if you can give us color in terms of which key customers are there from where the payments are pending, and how do you see this normalization of the receivables going forward, sir?
You see, Charanjit, by October it will be normalized, because it will take another 3 months to get normalized, because all the payments of the EPC customer, which is from government, they are now coming. Like one large payment we have received in this month only by end of July, and we are quite hopeful that all these payments which were delayed, it will be on time by October.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And
so then the debtor period will be the normal as it was in the March 20.
Okay. And so just last question from my side on the cables and wires front now. How do you see the demand trajectory going forward in July? How you have seen the pickup, and especially for the housing wire, and in terms of the channel health, how is that right now? So that's the last question from my side. Yeah.
See, channel health is good because all the collection from the dealer distributor that is now coming, and it is up to the mark. Whatever we are selling, we are getting the collected also. And in the month of July, we are talking that almost dealer distributor sale is almost you can say 95% we have done as compared to last year.
Okay. Hi, sir. Thanks a lot for taking my questions, sir. I'll join for them.
Thank you, Charanjit.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Jason Soans from Monarch Networth Capital. Please go ahead.
So thanks for taking my question. So just wanted to know what's the breakup of your sales currently in terms of institutional and retail as of now, and how do you expect this proportion to continue? I believe it is around 65 institutional and 35 retail. So just wanted to know what's the mix, what do you see it going ahead?
See, normally our retail sale is close to 30-32%. So in this quarter it is only 25%. So in the balance of the period again it will be going to 30 to 34% sale for the retail market sale.
Okay, so 30 to 34% would be retail and the balance would be institution. You see the same thing going forward, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Sangeeta Purushottam from Cogito Advisors. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm a partner, Andre here. Good afternoon, Gupta ji and Rajiv ji. Just a follow-up question on July. Could you give us a flavor on what the top line is across product categories and segments? Just to give us a flavor as to what happened there. So the normalization.
Sir, July number is not available.
Okay.
I said in percentage terms that almost July sale is good and as good as close to last year's sale.
Okay. But are there any highlights in terms of which segments or product categories are doing better and which are doing worse?
Well, institutional sales and export sales have done better. Although dealer sales has also gone up significantly, reaching around 95% level of the pre-COVID level. But I'm not giving the guidance that it will remain at that level because uncertain conditions are there in most towns about lockdowns. So July has been good. What will be the August? I don't know.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Abhishek Mathur from KS Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Thank you for the opportunity. I have two questions.
Mr. Mathur, please increase the volume of your phone. Your audio is not
Hello?
audible.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Sir, in the Q3 of last year, our order book was around 4,500 crore, and right now it is under 3,000 crore. So that's a significant reduction. Is there any kind of thinking as in how it will impact our revenue going forward?
So normally EPC orders, whenever it comes in bulk, close to 1,600, 1,500 kind of things. So if any order comes in this range only. So this time EPC order is come basically less है हमारे पास 705 करोड़ के डोमेस्टिक हैं और 389 करोड़ के हमारे पास एक्सपोर्ट EPC के orders हैं. So few orders are in the quotation stage. So whenever we get, we will let you know.
But orders of the cables, wires and cables are in line. Month after month, we are receiving whatever was the desired level, we are getting it.
Okay, the next question is, company did a CIP in January, February timeline, but the net debt seems to have increased the current 350 crores this June. So, and last quarter the company mentioned that it has paid back around 200 crores of debt. Can you provide some more clarity on this situation?
So the debt is basically because of the debtors. Because
everything
else, and we have paid to our creditors around 400 crore rupees. That's why you see the acceptances level has decreased from 770 to 342 crore. Because these are the creditors for copper, aluminium and other raw materials.
But other than LC also, we had paid to all the creditors in time, but debtor collection was slow because of the lockdowns, and it is improving now. And we hope that working capital cycle should be regularized by October.
You see, if we don't pay to our creditors or LCs, the interest rate there was the 9%, but now we are getting the limits from the bank at the 6%. So it was better to pay to them and avail the working capital loan.
Okay, so that turns out to be cheaper.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vinod Bansal from Franklin Templeton. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Vinod here. Just one question on the exports. Your order book has continued to shrink for the last few quarters. Of course, there have been adverse macro conditions during lockdowns, etc. But what gives the confidence that we shall be able to maintain our revenue in line with what we did last year, given the high base? And if I look at even this quarter, the order book is less than one quarter's revenue. So if there is a case that situation doesn't improve for next 2-3 months, globally also, you are staring at order book going almost next to zero, and therefore delay in the pickup in revenues. So what gives the confidence that A, for exports we shall maintain our last year's run rate, and B, overall for the company declines of revenue just to 15% of last year? So any more clarity on how this business is done and exports and generally otherwise also would be helpful. What is the tenure of the order book execution?
Same this is said about the last year sale means that the other than Dangote sale. You see, Dangote was the one kind of thing. So whatever sale our run rate in the export was more than 500 crore. So that 500 to 600 crore we will be maintaining in any way. But Dangote, because these kind of orders, one of the things actually.
Right.
Normally in the cable division from institutional orders, we are having orders not more than 3 to 4 months, normal course. So this order book was higher because of the Dangote order and the EPC segment orders.
Right. And so these when you have 3 to 4 month order book, essentially what it also means that the moment you get order, you are looking to execute it immediately. That's the sort of time frame to execute. So within 3 to 4 months, execution also happens. Is that the right way to look at it?
Yes, sir.
So which means it's a continuous flow of work happening at the consumer's end, whether it's utility in India or outside. So therefore, the question that if things remain little weak, and which is quite plausible in the current scenario, people don't open up so easily in various countries that we work in. If you don't get a good enough order book for next 3-4 months, you might run dry. That's the whole point in exports as well as in other short cycle orders. So I was trying to understand, given how do you operate in this segment so that you're confident that for the company as a whole, you will still look 85% of what you did last year?
As of now, during the 4 months, whatever we have sold, more than that we have received the new orders in institutional segments. So that is the actual reality.
Okay. Your order book looks low though from...
Normally in our cable division, it happens always like this. Generally, we are having only not more than 3 to 4 months order book position. And every day we are getting order, every day we are selling. And every day we are quoting also. Because we are serving more than 1,300, 1,400 institutional customers in the country.
Right.
Very well diversified, sir, customer base. Yes, sir, you are asking anything?
I was just looking at that. Let's say cables order book. It was 2,000 crores in March 20, dropped to 1,800 crores in 1Q 21. So. Does that bother you at all?
Sir, this is the 626 crore extra high voltage cable is the cable order. 1,112 crore cable domestic order and 118 crore is the export order. And whatever order of 1,100 of EPC, out of that is 30% is the cable portion.
Fine. All right. This is helpful. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rita Tahil Ramani from Invesco. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Congratulations on the set of numbers. 2 clarifications. What would be the absolute capex which we would incur in FY21?
FY21 absolute capex not yet known, but whatever the maintenance capex will be 10-12 crore. And the balance capex of Silvassa will be the 10 crore. Chinchpada. And with regards to new, it is not known now. It will be measured in next financial year.
Sure. And when we say the working capital is expected to normalize by October, do we mean that this will come back to the FY21 level? Or FY20 level? Sorry.
Yes, it will be FY20 level.
Okay. But
by year end, you will see again by FY20 level.
Year end you will see FY20 level, you are saying?
Yeah, by third quarter it will be.
Okay. But sir, if working capital is to get normalized by October and we are not to incur additional capex, new capex in that sense, then why will there not be an improvement on the debt side?
There will be improvements, so that's why interest cost is going down, and it will.
There will be improvement in the debt size. What Rajiv had said that once we start doing capex for the new project which was conceived, then the debt will come back to the last year level. Otherwise, debt will remain low.
Okay, so just an extension. If you don't incur the capex, additional new capex, where would your debt be as per compared to FY20 levels by FY21 end?
Maybe nil.
Okay.
Because FY20 so debt was only 152 crore rupees.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That's it for myself. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nikunj Baheti from LIC Mutual Fund. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you for taking my question. My question is regarding the export side of the business. We are quite optimistic there, given the strong order book intake we are seeing. So I just wanted to know what is the kind of clientele profile which we are looking to serve, and what would be the average timeline for each project which we are executing in the export market?
See, the customers' export profile in the export market is mainly in the Middle East. It is oil and gas companies and petrochemical companies, where we are directly catering to them, and other markets in Australia. It is mostly solar and wind projects, and also we have bidded for metro projects in Sydney and some other cities. We are also approved in Australia by many transmission and distribution utilities. So now we are doing a good amount of sales. We will be eyeing good amount of sales in other parts, because in Australia manufacturing is not there. So there is no internal manufacturing of wires and cables. In Africa, it is a combination of transmission and distribution projects, mostly distribution jobs, which contractors are carrying out and buying our cables. We are approved in many distribution utilities in Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, and similarly many other countries of Africa. We are approved. We are supplying to many UNDP projects, United Nations Development Projects in Africa, through EPC contractors operating there. So this is the customer profile of different, and in surrounding countries, we are selling our cables to Bangladesh, to Nepal, to Sri Lanka, and there the customer profile is mostly the power distribution utilities.
And the timeline for the project, considering an average timeline that we need to take for the export order?
Normally, after export order comes, if it is a supply order, within 3 to 4 months we come, or maximum 5 months we complete the order. And we can do it even faster, but customer delivery requirements has to be met. But in case of overseas EPC, which are mostly whatever orders we have, they are ADB funded projects. Their timeline is around 24 months from now.
Okay, sir. So my second question is on the government side of the business. What kind of orders we are taking in, like for exports, we have said that we are taking in oil and gas and kind of clientele base. So from the government side of the business, the recent order book has been with respect to what kind of projects? Like, is it more of a rural-based project or more of a infrastructure-based project? So if you could throw some light over there.
These are more of the infrastructure-based projects out of transmission systems projects of power grid or state transmission companies, and various projects of distribution companies for underground cable taken by various EPC contractors, and they in turn have placed cable orders on us. Similarly, many EPC companies who are executing exports EPC in overseas countries, they are also buying substantial amount of cables from us, but it is not counted as export from our point of view. Next point is the construction projects which are executed by National Building Construction Corporation and such agencies. They are building up a lot of hospitals, ESI hospitals, and other, like exhibition centers in Dwarka. This kind of construction projects where we are selling our cables through EPC contractors, and plus the smart city projects which are under execution by many EPC companies. They are buying cables from us. Plus the metros, railways, this tunnel ventilation projects in Northeast or J&K executed by many turnkey contractors.
Right, sir. That was really helpful, sir. My last question is on the considering that we have a lot of receivables from the government side, I assume. So, what would be the percentage of our trade receivables from the government side of view, from the government side, and when are we expecting that to normalize? Say, I assume that it is September when government starts paying out in a full-fledged manner. So, what is our view on that, and what would be our percentage of trade receivables from the government business?
Sir, all the EPC business we do, that is the government business. Otherwise, our major business is with the large EPC contractors and other institutions, basically. And in EPC contractors, basically the institutional sale. So these payments are not coming because they are getting the payments from governments, as we are receiving our payments from the government for EPC division. So that's why I said in the normal, which was we are having in the month of March holding period of the debtors, it will be resumed by October.
Right, sir. I understand, sir.
Mr. Baheti, sorry to interrupt you. May we request that you return to the question queue for follow-up questions, as there are several participants waiting for their turn. Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nishit Shah from Equitas Investment. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, sir. Sir, I want to focus on EHV. So this quarter we saw sales if we compare it to last year. So any particular reason over there?
See, last year itself we had said that we had a very strong order book position in extra high voltage cable, and even now also the order book in extra high voltage cable is 627 crore. So in this actually the cable portion itself is around 65 to 70%. The value of the cables itself in these projects is because it is major cables and joints, and then 10-15% is the execution portion. So it is that is the reason that the cable sales in this segment is very strong and will remain strong in the rest of the year.
Okay, so can you
these orders are mainly from the power transmission utilities.
Okay. So, sir, can you give some outlook on the demand side of the industry we are looking at in EHV, tenders coming up or anything we have bid?
Yeah, we are continuously bidding new tenders, and I think around 400 to 500 crore worth of tenders are under evaluation at the moment, and every month we are bidding around 250 to 300 crore worth of tenders.
Okay. And sir, we were planning to do double the capacity of EHV. So even that plan is off as of now?
No, in the new greenfield capex, it will be done.
But in existing factories, no.
We have already doubled, no?
Already we have doubled.
So that is deferred for the new greenfield EHV?
So greenfield we will do in the next financial year, that we said. Okay. So from fourth quarter onward, we will starting the looking for the greenfield projects.
Okay. And sir, there are...
Mr. Shah, sorry to interrupt you. May we request that you return to the question queue for follow-up questions? Thank you. The next question is from the line of Nishit Shah from Nepean Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. So just had a broader question on our strategy going forward. So we've been seeing that we're doing exports, we're doing extremely well. So just wanted to understand as to who are we competing in the export market, and normally if we bid for say 500 crores, what is the bid conversion rate? So what are the projects which are getting converted, and who are we competing with in the export market?
Normally, In cables, our competition from India is very limited. Major competition we face from European companies. From India, only in Dangote Polycab was there, which took a good amount of share. But otherwise, in our other export markets, we are competing with only international players.
Okay, and the bid conversion rate?
It is whatever we are bidding, we are almost getting around 35 to 40% of the orders.
Okay. And also just again a broader question. So on the housing wire side of things, are we seeing any kind of slowdown because with the kind of stress that developers are currently? So are we seeing any stress going forward? And this is all not for this year. This is for next year or on a broader sense, because this year will be bad and most of the unorganized developers will come under stress. So there is going to be substantial issues which the developers are going to face. So are you seeing a stress?
In last 3 months, May or probably June and July, we have seen very strong sales coming from B class and C class cities, and that too from the segment where the smaller residential projects are there, or where the people who are making their own independent houses. The demand from big developers is definitely very, very weak, and we feel that it will remain weak throughout the year because of the obvious problems of labor and execution and maybe low demand. But the demand from B and C class cities, and then through C class cities, the goods are going to rural areas. That demand is very strong, and that we have witnessed, and that has brought us very strong sale in June and July.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vaibhav Gohate from Ashmore. Please go ahead.
Thanks for the opportunity. Could you give some color on the Chinchwada capex that you are doing?
We have already done a capex of 71.5 crore. Around another close to 18 to 20 crore capex is pending, which will be done in next 2 to 3 months. Because we had slowed down on this capex because of these lockdowns, and since the markets were also closed, so we delayed the completion. But I think by September, the second phase will also be completed, and the investment will be over.
So this is mainly towards housing wires, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Manish Agarwal from Edelweiss. Please go ahead.
Hello. So this is a small bookkeeping question. Sir, our other income has risen considerably to around 8 crore this year. So, sir, is there some one-off, or is this a sustainable number for a quarterly basis?
It's basically interest on fixed deposit, and the close to 6 crore is the foreign exchange gain.
Okay. So, foreign exchange gain on our imports, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, export-import both combined together.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, due to time constraint, we'll take the last question from the line of Aditya Kondawar from GST Investment. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. My questions have been answered. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
So
the next question is from the line of Nishit Shah from Nepean Capital. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I just got dropped off the line, sir. So just completing on that question. So you mentioned that tier 2 and tier 3 towns demand is extremely good. So what proportion is that now versus pre-COVID?
Can you answer?
Actually, pre-COVID, the C-class cities was close to 41%, and again, it has improved by under 3-4%, so it has gone to 44%.
Okay. And just on the export bit again, just the last question from my end. So exports going forward, how do we see that progressing in the next 2-3 years? Like, what proportion of our sales would be exports, and do we make better margins on them?
For export, we do into the institutional export sale, as we do institutional sale in the domestic market. So whenever there was a large order last year like Dangote, so because of the capacity, we have not participated in the local domestic order because of the constant capacity. Now that order has complete, so it will be replaced from the domestic institution side. But being our CMDs are concerned, like he wants always a very diversified customer base and very diversified geographical base. So that's why every year our target is 15 to 20% growth in the export as well as in the local domestic institution, apart from the dealer distributor growth.
Okay, and do we make better margins on them?
Yeah, margin is slightly better, at least 1.5% because of the specialized cable and the good cash flow. Because we are getting almost 50-60% cases LCs from there.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, due to time constraint, we'll take that as a last question. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Mahawar for closing comments.
Thank you. Sir, do you have any closing remarks?
Okay. So thank you very much for joining us on this investor conference call. We hope that we have been able to answer most of your queries. If still anything is left out, you can approach us for any clarifications. I can reassure that our business model is very strong. Whatever we have stated, we are always little conservative in our approach, and the company has always performed better than what we have stated. With this remarks, I convey my thanks and regards to all of you for supporting our company in the capital market. Thank you so much.
Thank you. On behalf of Edelweiss Securities, that concludes this conference.